Hey there, Damian McGee here. So something happened the other day, and I wanted to kind of share it with you all and just kind of let you know my thoughts on it. So my son, I have a 14-year-old son who plays in the marching band, and this is his freshman year in high school, and the band director is phenomenal, but she's very, very tough. She is very, very tough. It reminds me of military boot camp. Just she expects a lot from them. She holds them very accountable. It's a different ball game from middle school band to high school band for him. So anyway, he comes in and he tells me he wants to quit. Now we already have a rule in my house where once you start something, once you start something, you have to finish it. So he says, I want to finish out this year, and then next year I want to quit. And so I ask him why, and he says, it's just not fun anymore. It's not fun. And so, I tell him I can't make that decision for you. You need to make the decision. I of course give him my opinion, tell him what I think is happening, but I leave it to him. And so, anyway, fast forward a couple of days later, and he is out playing football. A football hits his finger, and he sprains the finger, sprains a ligament or something like that. I'm not a doctor, sorry, but basically the doctor says he can't play. So he has to sit out of band for, I believe they said 6 weeks. And if you had seen the face my son made when the doctor told him he could no longer play his instrument, it blew my mind. And so, we got home, and I told him, I said, well, this is what you wanted, right? You wanted to be done with band. Now you have your excuse. And he says, yeah, I guess so. And he goes to his room. Next day, come back. He's ready to go to school. I check out his finger, and it is the most securely wrapped thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there's extra padding, there's extra support, there's all this stuff. And I just asked him, what did you do to your hand? He says, well, I tried to fix it so I could still play my instrument. And I said, well, what? I thought you didn't want to play. That I would think this is your opportunity to just stop. Dad can't be mad at you if your health says you can't play, or if the doctor says you can't play. And it was in that moment that I realized what had happened to him. And I think this happens to so many of us every single day. Something that we are doing or something that we are a part of becomes hard and becomes difficult and is not what we thought it would be, and is way more work than we thought we had to put into it. So we quit, or at least we make the choice that we're going to quit. And what we don't realize is that we haven't actually lost the love for that thing. We haven't actually lost the love for the person in that relationship. We haven't actually lost the love for our job. We haven't actually lost the love of our dream, or our desire to start a business, or our desire, to plant that garden, or whatever your goal is. What happened is you hit a spot where things got difficult. And when things get difficult, everything in you says, I could just stop. I could just quit. It's so much easier. Maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Maybe this is much harder than I expected it to be. And those things could be true. It could be harder than you thought it was going to be. It could be way more difficult than you expected it to be. The journey could take much longer than you ever thought it would. But that doesn't mean it's time for you to quit. And so one of the things I told my son, I said, think about all the sports you watch, and think about the people who retire earlier than we thought they were going to retire. I said, what do they all say? What do most of them say when asked why? Why this unexpected retirement from the game? Most of them say one of two things. They say plenty of things, but the two I hear most often are, it's best for my health and my family at this time, and I just lost the love for the game, right? Athletes never complain about how long practice is. Athletes never complain about the rules changing in the game. Athletes never complain about, how much the economy is sucking their paycheck and how much taxes are on their new home. And they talk about their health, their family, and the love for the game. So what I would challenge you is, before you give up on something, right? Before you quit, before you walk out, your job, your relationship, your dream, your passion, before you stop, ask yourself, do I truly, truly, truly no longer love this thing? Or is this just really hard and uncomfortable right now? And if it's just hard and it's just uncomfortable, and you and that person have just been fighting constantly, and you and your boss is driving you crazy, or this business has so many more moving parts than I thought it would be, or I thought I'd lose weight so much faster, and I've only lost 2 pounds. Those are normal struggles, and I hate to tell you this, those are struggles that every single person goes through. I've never met a couple that's been married for 40 or 50 or 60 years who says they've never had an argument. In fact, I've met couples who've been married 40, 50, 60 years who can recall moments in which they just flat out didn't like each other, but they figured it out because they still had the love for one another. They still had the love for the relationship. People who have built businesses, there were times where they hated it. There were times their businesses went under. There were times when things were hard and employees stole from them. And you name it. But the love for being an entrepreneur, the love for growing something or creating something, they never lost that. It just got hard and they had to move past it. So before you walk away from something or someone, take some time and ask yourself very wholeheartedly, have I lost the love, or is this just hard right now? Because if the answer is it's just hard right now, it will get easier. It will work itself out. It can be fixed. But if you've lost the love, by all means, maybe you're not in the right space. Maybe it's time to move on. Maybe you need to find something new. Maybe you need to find the thing that brings you that joy. But just be very careful about confusing those two things because they are easily confused. And, I will tell you, just getting back to my original story, my son, he wrapped up his finger. He cut the hole out of his glove so that his pinky finger with the brace on it could stick out the whole time, and he played, and they took first place in the next 2 competitions that they competed in. And I asked him, how does that feel? He's like, it feels good, but we can do better, but I feel like we did good. So I said, do you still want to quit? And he says, I don't know. I'll let you know. And it's funny to me because we're so quick to throw things away, but when they're taken from us, I think we start to realize the true value. Listen, things are going to be difficult. We're all going to have situations that we have to get through. Things are going to be hard. They're not going to be fun. They're going to be uncomfortable. But the question is, are you just in a space where it's really hard and you just have to get through it, or you just have to go through it? Or have you actually lost the love? And I would challenge you, if you have not decided which situation is true for you, just stand still until you know for sure. The thing my son's situation taught me and taught him is that it's really easy to dismiss something and throw something away when you have the opportunity to do so, right? When you're in a position that says, maybe I don't want this today. Maybe I want something else. Maybe I'm done with this thing. But when it's taken away from you and it's not your choice, that's a whole different ballgame. Remember, if you're listening to this, you're still alive in spite of all the things that life has thrown at you. If you like what you heard, leave me a comment down below, subscribe to the page, and share it with someone else you think might find some value. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.